Hi everyone, welcome to the Break Zone. This is Lauren coming at you with another video. This one is hopefully reaching out to the people that bought the Dissidia NT special editions in order to and got the three alternative art cards from Final Fantasy, the trading card game. So I'm going to go over a couple points of why I think people should be interested about this game, or at least looking into it a little bit. So one of them would be card stock quality. So the quality of the cards is actually very good. I'm comparing it to other trading card games I've played in the past. In terms of what the cards look like, here is Terra. The front looks pretty nice, good art. The back is kind of hard to see, but it is actually textured, and these cards are pretty substantial. Like the quality is pretty good. It doesn't bend too easily. It actually feels pretty solid in your hand. The back is textured, and I would still protect them if I were to play them, but I feel a lot more confident about putting these cards somewhere if and that they won't be damaged from just kind of like getting bent or something like that. Also, the cards come either non-foil or foil. I'll show you a couple foils. I do feel like some of the dark cards or dark colored cards don't come out as well when they're foil. So this would be a foil card. You can kind of see a little bit of a glimmer of shine around it, but on the character itself, it's hard to see. While if you have something that's more light colored, such as this card, you'll see all that shimmering everywhere. Alright, so there you go. Alright, it has also very good game mechanics, and the decision that you make early on will affect your board state later in the late game. So if you were to play an aggressive deck, uh, and you were to really want to push for those final points of damage and think you could end it right there, if your opponent is able to stall you out, you will not have built up your board state in order to recover from that as well. So what happens is backups, there's forwards, there's summons, and if you spend your early game building out your forwards and all your backups, and your opponent is able to stabilize, it's gonna hurt because you'll have to invest more resources than your opponent in order to play your next forwards. There's also a catch-up mechanic called EX Burst. So what happens is if you take damage, you'll flip the top card of your deck and put it in something called the damage zone. Now, if that card has an EX Burst mechanic on it, then you'll actually have the ability to play that for free in order to get that effect to go off. So another thing is the balance sets. So this game is based off of a previous game that they decided to rebalance and reset. They had 12 chapters, 12 expansions, and now we're playing something called Final Fantasy, the trading card game, and we've gone from Opus 1 to Opus 4. So, and we have Opus 5 coming out in March. I think there's already talks about Opus 6 as well, so they're actually building out into the future, and they gave also a preview for Opus 5 card already. Uh, the distribution of cards in terms of rarity when you buy a box or case is actually one of the good things about this game. If you were to buy a box, you will get 7, if not more, legends per box, and about 2 to 4 possible foils, legendaries. So you might get 9 to 11 legends, I believe. But also something that I've heard, but I have not checked for myself, is that if you were to buy a case, that would be 6 boxes of an expansion. If you were to open up everything, you would be able to get a playset of every card that you have that from that set, and I believe you get also a playset of the foils. Which, if you're a collector, that means hey, you buy a case and you can play whatever deck you want, and you also have a foil collection for yourself. Um, Also, another good thing about this game is right now it is actually ready to just grow in terms of popularity, in my opinion, because there's multiple factors such as the cheap price of entry, multiple viable top tier decks, and top tier decks are under $100. So if you were to buy singles, the singles are really like dirt cheap right now. And if you're worried about oh, I can only play that one deck. That's the only deck that wins. That's not true. There are multiple top tier decks. If I were to name a few off the top of my head right now, I would say Mono Lightning, Lightning Wind, uh, Earth Ice, and let me think, Fire Ice, Mono Water Knights. I mean, those are all top tiers, and any given week they could overtake the other. It's kind of a paper scissors rock situation where you can definitely come out on top if you pick the right deck. Um, and in terms of top tier decks being less than $100, I think the most expensive one at the moment would be Mono Water Knights. And even then, if I put it off the top of my head, I think it's still under $100. I mean, we've got Garnet at about 15, three of them. We've got Steiner, that's about $10, two of them, so that's 65. Cecil might be 12 each, so that's another 24. We've got come about 80, 90, so it might be 100, slightly above, and that's only the most expensive one. If you play something like Mono Lightning or Lightning Wind, you might come out to be like $50 to $60 or something like that. And even then, that's on the more expensive end too. I've seen people go into quarterfinals or semifinals with like a wind-based deck, and those would be maybe $30 or less. So here you go, a couple of things to think about if you're interested in a trading card game after getting those free cards from Dissidia. If you're interested, I'll be making some more videos regarding game mechanics and how to get started in this game in the near future. So hope to see you again. And if you're interested, hit that subscribe button below, and that way you'll know the next time I put up a video. Catch you soon.